Hi, I'm David, or Egyptrixx, from Toronto, Canada. Right, so there actually isn't like much of a story. I mean, there's a little bit of a story, but I should probably come up with something more entertaining considering how often I get asked. I was playing in a punk band called Africa for a while, and the name of that band was the result of some conversation that I'd had with a friend of mine about Africa, about, you know, the continent, the idea. And then, yeah, totally subconsciously I came up with the name Egyptrixx, and I just liked it. You know, it was inexplicable. I came up with it, liked the sound of it, and stuck with it. And it may have had something to do with the conversations that led to the band Africa, maybe or maybe not, I can't really say. But that's the genesis story of the name Egyptrixx. I've been playing in bands basically since I was maybe 11 or 12. And this is more or less the first electronic project that I've had, you know, dance-related, or dance-centered electronic project. I was playing in a band just before I started this project that broke up because of, you know, standard band personality conflict issues. And the disappointment that I felt from the demise of that band is what led me to start making music on my own. The only reason that it was dance music was because a friend of mine had left some techno and house records at my house at the time. Otherwise it would have sounded probably like electronic punk or electronic metal or something. The fact that it turned into dance music was just fortuitous. It to me just seemed like a natural progression. It was just, you know, reflective of what I was listening to at the time, which was, you know, house and techno records. When I first started going to dance parties, dance music parties, raves, there were mainly like house music DJs, which is solely the result of a friend of mine who has a huge love for like deep house and vocal house. So, you know, we went to go see some of the first raves I went to, John Cutler and Danny Crivet, DJ Sneak, that kind of thing. None of whom were Toronto artists. So I wouldn't really say there's any kind of attachment to like a Toronto scene necessarily. Most of the artists I got into initially were not from Toronto. Up until February of this year I was in school, and because I was in school I was making music in a really sporadic way. So if I had a week off or a weekend off, I would make a tune or two, put them out, and that was it. There was never any kind of continuity to it, any kind of theme. It was very much just like a part-time thing. Once I got out of school, I decided to actually sit down and write a record that felt like a record, you know, with some thematic continuity, or working with art. I worked with another band on the artist on a couple of different tracks. I decided to actually sit down and write a record. That happened in the summer of this year, late spring, early summer. Alex and James, the guys that run Night Slugs, we've been trading music and chatting and communicating well before the label ever came together. We were just fans of one another's mixes and remixes, and started, you know, chatting online over email. They did an EP of mine early in the year, in January, and yeah, it feels right. They're friends of mine, they're artists that I respect. I like working with them as people, and that was basically it, very organically. I mean, the genre tag game, in my opinion, is very much like an electronic dance music phenomenon, and it's not something that I really get into. I don't know how to describe it in terms of, you know, genre categorizing. I think it borrows equally from, you know, techno and pop and drone and experimental music and dubstep, but I'm not gonna wager some kind of hybrid name that, you know, borrows from all of those different things. It's just really what came out of it, and there's not much I can say about it beyond that. I basically use Ableton Live and a couple of keyboards and effects machines, and I'm just performing my tracks, which I've broken down into you know, clips and loops. And so basically what I'm doing live is just resequencing all of the different tracks, and it feels like a live PA. It's not just DJing through Ableton. There's definitely like an improvised quality to it, which is what I like. You know, it's active for me as a performer. It was a great year. I was transitioning out of being a student and into being a musician, and I've been traveling basically all year long. I've been to Europe a bunch of times, I'm going to Australia, all over North America. It's been really exciting. I don't think, if you'd asked me 10 months ago, where I'd be in November, I would guess here. Things have gone exceptionally well.